Hey everyone, welcome. I am MisterBo, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the Forged in Fire ViDoc that Bungie released yesterday. I have taken out all the gameplay and we're going to be going through it here. I have screenshotted a few things throughout the trailer. We're going to look at them, break them down and analyze them and talk about what they could mean for when we actually get to play Rise of Iron. So the first thing we see in this trailer is actually the raid armor for the Titan for the Wrath of the Machine. We've seen this in some of the previous trailers, so this isn't really anything new, but then we get to see a glimpse at some of the new Trials of Osiris armor, and this is for the Warlock, based around a snake this time. The Hunter is based around the Cat of Bastet, and the Titan is based around a Scarab, so that is really cool to see. We can see that the armor color is blue and yellow, that we'll talk about armor color with Trials of Osiris in just a minute, and you can see this Warlock is actually holding a brand new exotic weapon. This is a brand new pulse rifle that is themed around Siva, and we'll talk about the exotic perk again in just a minute. We then get to see the entrance to the raid, the Wrath of the Machine. This is how you're going to be going into the brand new raid. We don't know at this time if you need to do something in order to unlock the door, like we saw with the Vault of Glass and King's Fall, or if this is just going to open up when you start the raid. Hopefully you do have to do something in order to open this up, or there is some kind of challenge through the door. As you can see, there are flames. Maybe you have to dodge these flames that are spinning around. We'll just have to wait and see. But straight after that, we get a glimpse at more raid. We get to see one of the brand new encounters, which at this time is being called the Death Zamboni. We don't know the name of this boss at this current time, but it's talked about in this ViDoc that this is going to be on top of the wall. It's going to be slowly moving along. Guardians are going to have to keep moving and try and dodge its attacks, whilst also dodging fallen spices that are going to be on top of the wall trying to attack you. So that sounds like a really cool encounter. Going back to raid armor, we get to see the Warlock's raid armor this time. I can't wait to unlock this armor and have it on my Warlock. What we'll notice from this is he's actually got it in a different variation of color. I believe this is probably going to be the shader that you get from Wrath of the Machine, as the default color for this armor is black and red instead of the red and white. You can also see he is holding a hacker weapon there with the Siva logo on it. We then have the Trials of Osiris armor set for the Titan, which I previously mentioned is based on a Scarab. You can see this Titan has been flawless as he has ornaments on his armor, and we'll get a glimpse at more of that at the end of this trailer. But take a look at the gun that he's holding. Notice that it's only yellow and black and not blue and yellow like the rest of the armor that the Trials of Osiris gear is. Now later in the trailer we'll also see weapons that are blue and yellow, so whether blue and yellow is the color of the armor and weapons you get for going flawless, and black and yellow is the armor and the weapons you get for just going 5 and 7 wins, we're not entirely sure, but there does seem to be two variations of the color set for Trials of Osiris armor, which is interesting to see. Moving on, we then get to see some new armor for the Warlock, Titan and the Hunter. Starting on the left, the Warlock has that Trials of Osiris armor that we spoke about before, again in yellow and blue. In the middle we have the Titan wearing the brand new Lords of Iron armor set. Now you can see this guy has been decked out in ornaments. His gauntlets, chest piece and helmet have flames on them, which means he has the ornaments equipped, and we'll get a look at this armor set without any ornaments equipped in a little bit, and you'll see how drastically it actually changes the armor. It's going to be really cool to see that two people could have the same armor set, but one can look completely different to the other. Really cool stuff Bungie is adding here. On the right we have the Hunter. Now we aren't actually too sure of what armor he's wearing at this current time, but if I had to guess, it's probably the armor set from the Archon's Forge, the brand new Prison of Elders Court of Oryx style event that is going to be taking place in the patrol zone of the Plague Lands in Rise of Iron. Throughout this trailer we get glimpses at cutscenes, and I must say they do look incredible. They do look a lot nicer than the ones we saw in the Taken King, and we do know we're going to be learning more story throughout the 5 missions in Rise of Iron through these cutscenes. It also seems like these cutscenes are going to be flashbacks sometimes, as we see Iron Lords trying to close some door or open some door. We're not really too sure on that at the moment, but it is interesting to see we'll be seeing the other dead Lords of Iron in these cutscenes. Next we get to see the mission that you're going to go on in order to reclaim Felwinter's Peak, the brand new social space. So at the start of the mission you're going to be going on this gondola. It's going to be going up to the mountain. You're going to be having to shoot enemies on either side. Seems like a really cool encounter. And then when you get to the top of Felwinter's Peak, it's going to be infested with Fallen, as well as a servitor boss you're going to have to clear out in order to get the vendors to come to Felwinter's Peak so you can start the main missions. Now this is an interesting shot we get of a cutscene. in which they are looking at some sort of engraving which is highlighted blue. Now we can see the Iron Lords are present in this picture, so maybe this is how we're going to be seeing the flashbacks. It looks like that is the door that they were trying to close in that previous cutscene. So it is interesting to see what these are and if this is actually how we'll be seeing the flashbacks in those cutscenes. We then get a load of shots of the Plague Lands, which looks like a really interesting place to explore. I can't wait to go around and look for all the secrets that it has to offer. We then get a look at another brand new exotic weapon. This is the Nemesis Star, a brand new heavy LMG. We're not entirely sure of the exotic perk at this moment, but we will see in this trailer in a little bit some ways you can customize this to make it look different from just the default skin. Yet another exotic weapon. This one is one you'll be more familiar with. This is the Monte Carlo, but this is with an ornament attached. We'll see another ornament for the Monte Carlo again in just a second, but this one is kind of a goldy color, and as you can see there are some cool patterns on it. So this is just one of the ways you can make it different from that default white skin. Here we have a look at the brand new strike that is going to be coming with Rise of Iron, and in this video they actually talked about the final encounter in this strike, and it's actually pretty cool. So this Fallen Seaver has actually taken the eye out of this ogre and put it on his own gun. He is going to be running around shooting you, and then this ogre has got giant metal balls on his arms, and because he's blind he's going to be running around swinging his arms trying to hit anything he can. So you kind of have two things to worry about in this encounter. It's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out, and also what the strike specific rewards, and also to see what the strike specific items are going to be. Here's hoping for a Warlock helmet. Here we have one of the returning strikes that is going to be coming back with a new little twist on it. Of course it is Devil's Lair with Septix Prime, however he's a little bit changed now. He's got Seaver in him, so he's now Septix perfected. It's going to be really fun to run this old strike again, but there's some changes to it. Again, we don't know what the strike specific rewards are going to be for this, but we do know they're going to be introducing the brand new Horde chests and skeleton keys, so you can get those items a little bit easier. The other strike making a comeback again with a little twist to it is Fogoth. We're going to be going back down to the moon to try and take out Fogoth, to see what has changed with the encounter and enemies down there. And then we get our first glimpse at inside that big door for the raid. You can see these guardians running up, and then we see what looks to be a jumping puzzle in the wall. Looks very cool. My favourite parts of King's Fall and the Vault of Glass are those jumping puzzles, so I can't wait to try and fail at trying to get across this. It looks really cool. And then we get a glimpse at our guardians running along the wall, again away from the Death Zambino, which is going to be chasing us. Of course, Bungie are keeping pretty tight-lipped on the raid, not giving us too many details. That is for us to explore on our own, and we will be doing that on September 23rd. Here is Archon's Forge. As I previously mentioned, it is a cross between Prison of Elders and the Court of Oryx. It is going to be a place in the Plague Lands where you can go to and you can try and challenge these different bosses. The place is going to close in, so if you die and you don't get revived and you respawn, you're actually going to respawn outside the area and have to wait for the people inside to kill the boss or for time to run out before you can get back in there. So you do have to kill the enemies in a certain amount of time in order to get to the boss. If you don't, then you won't even make it to the boss. There's going to be high-end rewards here, including armor and weapons. So this is definitely somewhere you're going to want to go in the Plague Lands. So then we get a look at the brand new sort of inventory screen, and as you can see, firstly they have actually changed the background color. At this current time it's more of a grey color, and when Rise of Iron launches it's going to be more of a bluey color. It's closer to the original gameplay footage they showed off at E3, where the background was more of a bluey tint. We can see there are some brand new emblems coming. You'll notice there is a new Monarchy Ghost Shell which he has equipped, and you'll notice that the armor that he's wearing actually looks slightly different to the icons that are shown, and that is because of ornaments. And we'll see the default armor set in just 1 second. You'll also notice he has some of the brand new artifacts here. I've previously done a video going through all of the artifacts, but these are going to be something that a vendor in Fellwinter's Peak is going to be selling. She'll have 3 of them every week. I believe you can only purchase 1 a week, so it will take you 8 weeks to get all 8 of them. So let's take a look at the Iron Lord's armor. Firstly, we have the Warlock, which I'm sure you've probably seen before. It was shown off in the first trailer for the Rise of Iron. This Warlock is also holding a Trials of Osiris weapon. Again, it's in the black and yellow paint instead of the blue and yellow. We then get to see the Hunter's armor for the Lords of Iron. Looks very cool here. We'll also see that in just a second with some ornaments on it. Titan in the middle. That is the default armor set for the Lords of Iron. Equipping those ornaments gives you the flaming helmet, the flaming chest, and the flaming gauntlets, and I assume flaming legs as well. So you can see here the difference between ornaments and not having ornaments. For some armors it's going to be a greater difference, but for things like Trials of Osiris it's just going to be the glowing lights on it. So it will be very interesting to see other exotic weapons and armor pieces with ornaments and how they're going to be changing the aesthetic look of that gear. Here we have the full suite of the Wrath's Machine raid armor. We have the Warlock, the Titan and the Hunter here. Again, I believe this is a shader on the armor. I could be wrong and the shader in the raid could be the black and red one, but in Game Informer's coverage they showed images of the armor sets and they had the raid armor set with a base of black, and where you see the white lines on this armor, that was red. So it's either going to be red and white or black and red, and there'll be a shader where you can change it, so that is cool to see. We then get another look at the Lords of Iron armor set, this time in a different color. This is probably one of the brand new shaders in a sort of black and gold color. Looks very cool. This is the kind of shader I'd put on the Trials gear, as I'm not very keen on the blue and the yellow. Speaking of, here is the full set of Trials gear for the Warlock, Titan and the Hunter. Again, notice here the weapons are actually blue and yellow instead of yellow and black. So we'll have to wait and see why that is and if there are two different sets of weapons here. We then see the Hunter's Lords of Iron armor here with the ornaments equipped. You can see the chest piece adds the flames and then the helmet also adds the flames. I think personally the version with the ornaments for the Hunter at least looks the nicest. We get another look at the inventory screen here and we have yet another new emblem, and we also see the Monte Carlo here in the other ornament version, which we'll see again in just a minute. Here is the Trials of Osiris Titan helmet, the Scarab's Vigil helm, and as you can see from the clip here, he goes down and equips the ornament. We know that the ornaments for the Trials of Osiris gear at least is obtained via going flawless, so you'll have to go to the lighthouse if you want to get ornaments on your Trials of Osiris gear. We can then see the Monte Carlo here equipped with a different ornament, making it red and black instead of the default white. We then get the Hawk Moon, which is normally again white. This time you can see it as sort of a black and grey colour, and then it's changed to black with gold feathers on it. Very cool. And then we get to see the brand new exotic pulse rifle, which we saw at the beginning of the trailer. We can see the effect of it here. Now Game Informer did talk about this, and this is very similar to an exotic weapon that the community on Reddit actually came up with. So if you get a precision hit with this gun, Siva Seekers will burst out and go to nearby enemies, damaging them. So it seems like this weapon could be very useful in PvE and maybe in PvP if you have a group of enemies closely packed together. Here is the Nemesis Star, the exotic that I spoke about already. We can see the ornaments on this weapon change it from that grey to either a red and black or to a more cool looking grey colour. We then get glimpses at some of the new sidearms that are going to be coming in Rise of Iron, and they have said there is going to be a load of new sidearms. We can see one of them here. This looks like it's going to be an exotic version of a sidearm. It looks very different from the normal sidearms we would see. We then get a new Monarchy sidearm, and finally yet again another brand new sidearm that we are going to be able to obtain. They look like they have changed them a lot, giving them some new perks maybe, making them a lot more useful. It's going to be interesting to see how the new exotic sidearms are going to work and what exactly their perks are going to be. Hopefully they are more useful than the dregs promise. We then get a shot of them loading into the brand new Crucible mode, Supremacy, and we can see some armor pieces that we've already seen before here. However, on the left we see a Warlock here. Now this Warlock is actually wearing some sort of old armor. This is like Year 1 style armor. The chest piece is very much in the style of the Iron Banner armor from Year 1, and the helmet is one of those helmets you got from rank 10 to 15, so it is very interesting to see that they are bringing back some of the old armor from Year 1. As to how we will acquire that, we don't know at this current time. We get a look at a brand new Monarchy shotgun here. It looks like it's doing some incredible damage against this Hunter here. We then get a look at the 3 brand new maps coming with Rise of Iron. First we have Last Exit, which is located on the Ishtar Sink in Venus. We then have Skyline, which is located in Meridian Bay on Mars. And finally the Floating Gardens, which is in Pomona Mons on Venus. Of course there is a 4th map which is only available on PlayStation, and that is Icarus, which takes place on Mercury. We get a new look at the selection screen for Crucible. As you can see, we have private matches at the bottom there, Trials of Osiris at the top, and then on the far left we have Supremacy, and as you'll notice the characters and the background have changed to the brand new armor sets. Here is the selection screen for private matches. I actually did a video yesterday going over everything you need to know about them, So if you want to check that out, there'll be a link at the end of this video or in the description below. And finally, to wrap up this trailer, we get a shot of the 7 Iron Lords and their armor sets. Taking a look at the armor sets here in a little bit more detail, we can actually see their armor sets from year 1 and year 2 Iron Banner, as well as the year 3 Iron Banner. So it's going to be very interesting to see which Iron Lord had which armor set. I'm going to be trying to get whatever Felwinter was wearing as I play as a Warlock. But there you go, that is the Forged in Fire ViDoc. These are just a few things that I picked up on in the trailer, and hopefully there were some things here that you missed or maybe didn't know. If you've noticed anything in this trailer which I didn't point out in this video, do let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear. Let me know, out of the 3 armor sets, the Raid armor set, Trials of Osiris, or the Iron Lord's armor set, which one are you going to be wearing? And what do you think of ornaments and how they changed the armor? Is that something that excites you? Let me know in the comments below. Again, if you missed my previous video, you can click the image on screen or the link in the description below. Feel free to give the like button a big old hug, subscribe for more Destiny content and coverage. Hope you guys have an awesome day, thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye.